Now, how do we attack the problem? When we say attack the problem, you try to answer the research problem. Now, in classical research, by Grothendieck, Frenkel, Molyneux, tsaka kay Aksamia, we have three distinct steps that is common in doing architectural research or research in general. For example, we have literature review, research question, then choosing the right method. Now, previously, this is the problem of students. Um, they are doing their research first by identifying the title, then doing the introduction, background of the study, research question, review of related literature. But in but the proper way class to do it is to do first literature review. The first step is to do literature review. Baliktad. Ha? Baliktad. You first inform yourself what would happen. Inform yourself. So literature review, formulating research questions, and then selecting the method. Selecting the method. The other things are appendages or things that are attached really to research. For example, feasibility, ethical considerations, research strategies, documenting the research design, etc. Now, I would like to show you the proper way on doing research step by step. Research design, step by step. When we say research design, it is the entire framework of your research. Your framework. But it does not look that way kasi, no? In your thesis. Siyempre, ang una nyo makikita, table of contents, introduction, chapter 1, introduction, background of the study, conceptual framework. But the general step-by-step process would be this one, step 1 to 5. Ayoko mawala kayo, no? Kasi, ito yung ito yung itsura ng thesis nyo. But behind the scene, it should be like this. No? You begin by the literature review and creating the research questions. Consider the methodological choices, the feasibility and ethical considerations, develop the research strategies, and document the research design. Now, let's go to step 1. Yan, classic na step 1 ninyo. Mahaba mga step 1, no? But step 1 entails generally about two processes. So first is you inform yourself of comprehensive LR or literature review or RRL. Binulan natin RRL. Inform yourself to identify the existing knowledge that is present and even the theories that is present. So do not be afraid if there are researches that are similar to yours. Actually, it's better. It's better that you find similar cases because it would guide you along the process. The difference would be the context of your research. So, yun yung dahilan kung bakit mag-RRL ka. Tignan yung existing na understanding. You try to look at the existing understanding as well as the existing theories that are happening inside architectural design or whatnot. The second would be refine and shape the RQs based on the synthesized themes and critical analysis of existing literature. What do we mean by that? When you do your RQs, you base it on the existing knowledge or the things that are not yet answered in literature review. So, in your case, 20 ang requirement ko sa inyo. 20 literatures for you to review. Now, in that literature, you find the gaps in knowledge. Find the gaps in knowledge that they cannot answer, and you try to answer them. You try. Not that you answer them immediately, but you try at least a contribution to answer that question. Huh? So, yun ang dahilan kaya kayo mag-aaral. Baka, ito yung na-miss ng literature na to. These are the things that they miss. And you try to bridge that gap. At least, include a contribution of yours in the existing understanding of something. No, it is a combination of foreign and local. You may divide it into two. 10, 10. Yes. 5, 15, yes. You may do so. First one has 20. First one has 20. Nan ba kayo sa question? Kaya yan. Kahit dalawa kayo, tuturo ako ng life hacks. And we will discuss literature review in the classical form, the classical manner of literature review, and we will have a literature review using AI. Huh? Dalawang software gagamitin natin. So, yeah, let's do that. Yes. Yes, it is free. I began lecturing on AI about last year. Last year na ini-start ko mga thesis students ko. No, I teach them AI, how to use AI in literature review. I think it's Bard. But again, it's your duty to recheck what they are saying. No, hindi ChatGPT ang ituturo ko sa inyo na isang software. No, later on I will give you the link. And then ensure that your RQs are well defined, relevant, and contribution to the development of new knowledge in the field. Ensure that hindi yung mema lang na RQ. Ha? But again, I will teach you how to do a good research question. So what categorizes a good RQ? Now, category ng good RQ. We have 4. The RQ should be visible. The RQ should be clear. It should be significant. And it should be ethical. Yung dulo, alam niyo na yan sagot sa ethical. No, but I will still lecture it on you. Now, what characterizes a good RQ? When we say it should be feasible, it can be investigated. Yung yung study nyo, it can be investigated with the given amount of time, especially time. No? And it should be answered without the excessive, hindi lang much use, excessive use of time, energy, and money. Kawawa naman kayo, class. Bachelor's level na, alam ka naman, aabot pa kayo ng 20 days, 100,000 in your research. So, in the most economic or frugal manner, I am trying to do what is the most valid that can be used by you students. No? That is why I am advocating for digital versions of architectural architectural design, because it costs too much. It costs too much for students. Bachelor's level lang to, no? Master's ko nga, wala akong na-print isa sa thesis ko. No? In Mapua, we do thesis in digital manner. Pati pag sign ng advisor mo, hanggang din mo, digital lahat. No? Yung pa nga nakita yung libro ko na nakabound in thesis. Ah, dapat sana. Because, ano na eh, 21st century na po. And we have what we call the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, and then many more that we need to sustain what is available to us. We need not excessively use resources. Kasi pwede naman gawing digital eh. No? Let me remind you of the acronym SMART during your research. SMART, your research should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Alangan naman, alangan naman time-bound kayo, pero this study will be completed in 2026. I don't like that. I want you to graduate 2025. Oh, I want you to graduate next year na. So, please limit your study. You limit. Do not, huwag kayong masyadong lofty, no? Mamaya, titignan natin mamaya kung anong ibig kong sabihin. Um, Another point to be a good, to do a good RQ is for it to be clear. The language should be clear. The way you type it, the way you will deliver it, it should be clear. How to be clear? We have three different steps or three different things that we need to do in order for it to be clear. First is the constitutive definition. How do we do that? Constitutive definition is another term for dictionary approach. Dictionary approach. So, this is the research question, and everything that is inside the research question should be found at the glossary of terms or definition of terms. Why am I saying that? For the longest time that I did for the longest time, no? For a long time that I've been teaching thesis or research, panelists tend to question the language the student is using. And out of fear, the students are not that good in answering the question of the panelists based on the terminology that is used. Because what they lack is number one, that term is not found in the definition of terms. So, ang pagbangga nyo sa mga question na gano'n, bakit ito yung research question mo? Bakit ganito ang paggamit ng word? You defend it by saying, what I mean by that, or sir, it can be found in the definition of terms or glossary of terms. Yun ang gagamitin nyo. And that term should have a citation. Should be cited. Huh? Naintindihan? Sir, kailangan ko yung nasa pwede kayo maintindihan pero isang specific na gusto convey sir, yung lang yung gusto ko na yes, that is the operational definition. Iba yung dictionary approach and then iba yung operational definition. Dan here is asking, how about if you want that term to be used this way? For example, holistic design. Because holistic design may vary in art and architecture. So, for example, if this is used in this thesis, it should mean this way. So that is operational definition. Now, in order to fix that you cite it, you cite your source. Where did you find that kind of definition? Because I am trying to impress upon you the importance of having a clear definition of terms or glossary of terms. It will save you actually. So, kahit questioning kayo ng panelist, kahit maghanap pa siya ng evidence, so ito yung na-research ko, ito yung na-research ko, makita niya sa'yo. Actually, it's not appropriate to do that for a panelist. To use the term that he or she found in a cell phone versus the term that you are showing in your thesis. I-establish the premise that this is the definition that I'm using in my thesis. Being ito po, this is how I understood it based on the reference. So the third thing is clarify by example kasi na-discuss na natin ng operational definition. Clarify by example is simply to use an example to clarify the term. For example, magkaiba ang knight, K-N-I-G-H-T. Magkaiba ang knight sa medieval era, different from medieval era, versus the knight we use in chess. Magkaiba yun. Magkaiba ang chair sa program chair. Magkaiba. So, those nuances, those confusions that may arise will be clarified using examples or definitions. Okay? So, RQ should be clear. No? The third is the RQ should be significant. Now, significant in a way that what you are doing interests you. And of course, you will have a contribution to the knowledge, existing knowledge of architecture. May contribution ka after you completed your thesis. This is what I'm always telling about student thesis. Your thesis should be your legacy. Pagka-graduate nyo na, kahit di na kayo bumalik sa same tuloy. Pero pag bumalik, nandun na yung thesis nyo. That is your contribution to the department. Especially if it is published. Better. But your thesis would be your legacy and it is significant for you. But I should warn you on two factors. This is what I warn about the significance of your study. You may believe too much or you may be overstating the implication. When we say you may believe too much, this is what we call confirmatory bias. When we say confirmatory bias, everything that you collect is in conformity with what you believe, in agreement with what you believe. So that bias should be removed from you. Tanggalin niyo yung ganun na pag-iisip na lahat ng information nag-agree sa'yo. It's better for you to find opposite ideas na pwedeng sisira sa thesis mo. It's better to see it that way. Because early on, you may defend that your viewpoint versus that idea. Second would be overstating the implication. Laging nangyayari ito. Always happens. Overstating the implication. For example, this study will change the way we view or we design hospitals in the world. Galing mo naman. Thesis ka lang influential to the world. You are overstating the implications of your study. The design of the city hall will be a new branch of knowledge in the Philippines. So you are overstating the implication of your study. Now a good part or a good contribution or a good research question is what would be the contribution of this architectural design strategy in the understanding of designs for Hospitals, designs for city halls, designs for museums. Ano yung magiging contribution ng strategy mo? That is an example of a good research question. Huh? Because it can be measured. Hindi yung mag-argue ka, what is the contribution of this design strategy to the world? Hindi mo ganon. Ganon. Huh? It is overstating the implication of your study. Huh? Finally, the RQ should be ethical. RQ should be ethical. Now, you know the ethical frameworks that I've showed, right? Earlier. The study shouldn't have any potential harm to your subjects, especially psychological, physical, environmental, and social environment. When we say social environment, the the sphere where people are congregating, or the sphere where people are interacting, the social environment. So you do it ethically, the RQ. Wag mong subukan na banggain ang isang social norm, or a good phrase would be basta wala kang pinatapakang tao. No? That is the better phrase to explain the fourth characteristic. Fourth characteristic, RQ should be ethical basta wala kang pinatapakang tao or dignidad. Ha? Clear? I hope so. Okay, step 2. Step 2 na tayo. Hindi, medyo mahaba-haba ang lecture ng step 1 ha. The step 2 is consider the methodological choices. So, how do you choose the methods that are appropriate with your study? What is the doable? Yung pinaka posible. Then what are the strategies and tactics that goes with it? Also, since there are many methodological options available, you try to assess them, each of them. Assess each of them, which is the most method that suits your study. Piliin nyo. But don't worry, I will lecture a separate lecture for methodology. No? There are 7 methodology in architectural research. Common methodology that you can use. So this is an example. Ito sa thesis ko to. So this is the tactics that can be found in your thesis. So for example, in choosing interactive approach or non-interactive approach, in choosing information or data. For example, your tactics would be interviews and open-ended response formats. You may choose sa interactive face-to-face. Sa non-interactive, emails, texts, and others. This is valid actually. This is valid. Even emails, even texts, magpaalam lang kayo sa informant. You just ask permission for the informant to include his responses via text or via email. It will save you so much time. Kahit chat yan. Kahit chat lang o gawa kayo ng GC with your respondents. Huh? That is a valid tactic. Second is observation. Third is about artifacts and sites, yung field work ninyo. And if it is not available, kung hindi kayo maka-field work, ano ang non-interactive approach? I always say this to my students. You use Google Earth. Google Earth is a valid tool. No? Ano pa ba website ng feature? Yung Google Google Earth na may Street View. Hindi nyo mapuntahan ang site. Google Earth is valid. Ha? Paano kung delete? Yung it's okay. And you may use Facebook. Facebook, for example, they own the site. For example, they own the site. They have features of the site. You may ask them features. Pwede kayo humingi sa mga owners ng features. Just cite them as the source. That is non-interactive approach as a topic. Non-interactive approach. Hindi yung nagre-remedyo. This is actually remedyo. But we technically term it non-interactive. This is a valid approach in taking data. You can ask data from respondents, from the owners of the site, just cite them as the source. Cite them as a source. That is the important thing. No? Any more questions? Archival documents, for example, personal journals, photos, and collections. So, yung mga yan, not interactive lang yan because you were not there. You were not there to observe. You were not there to take pictures. Ano yung remedyo? Then go to not interactive. It will save you so much time. It will save you so much time. And resources. Imagine nyo, punta kayo lalo, 2 hours. 2 hours kami po, balik pa kayo. 2 hours na naman. Eh, sabihin nyo na lang 2 hours yung interaction. Tapos kakain pa kayo dun. Lagi pa. You see how much it costs you. No? You see how much it costs you. So, yung iba nga, I ask them to email na lang to offices. I ask them to email. Or sometimes, I ask them to utusan. No? To ask a friend from this area to give this to the city hall. No, you can do that. Diba? Here. O, diba? Nag-email na kayo. Pero ano, binigay mo na? Wala? Pero naibigay. Ano din? Ay, binigay nga sa'yo. Pero nagpaalam siya, may binigay na letter. Okay. Personal connection. But it's better for you to give a letter. No? It's better. It's better. No, because in ethical concerns, we do not try to have conflicts of interest. No? It's better to record no, your interaction. Anong oras? 9 minutes. O, 8 minutes na lang. Step 3 would be assess feasibility and ethical considerations. So, madali lang to. You assess if it is possible to do the research, feasibility of the topic, potential demands on time, resources, and ethical considerations. Matatandaan nyo naman yan eh. Alam naman, mag-design, malalang stories na awet. You look at the feasibility of it, of your effort to do it. And you address ethical barriers, especially when it involves humans. You can refer to the previous lecture. But then again, Ms. Machas, it's better for you to record your interactions. For us to... Kasi kung tatanungin ng panel siya, saan yung letter mo? See that? There would be conflicts of interest. And ethical considerations, ethical concerns. The fourth would be develop research strategies. Yan, develop research strategies. When you say develop research strategies, we use the 7 common research strategies. Use or review which is the most appropriate. 7 yan, oh. Ito class. Historical, qualitative, correlational, experimental, or quasi-experimental, simulation, logical argumentation, and case studies. So this is how you will review what is the most appropriate for your study. So after you select the most appropriate, then you may begin really the research process. No? But if you intend to go derecho using grounded theory, then for as long as you may defend it. Huh? Again, this is an example of a research process, a research method. This is qualitative research method. Under qualitative research design is grounded theory. So this is the first phase is purposive sampling, verification of the data, as well as doing the theories, building the theories. Especially in purposive sampling class, that is what I'm always saying to my students in research, that population or sampling, your sampling need not to be specific. Hindi mo kailangan gamitan ng Sloven's formula. Sometimes, you just choose how much is your sample. For example, gusto mong mag-design ng hospital for children. Ilan lang ang doctor for children? Mga 12. For example, ganun, 12 lang i-interview mo na doctors. Plus, it cannot be said that they are there are others that are experts in pediatric care. So, yung mga ganon, kahit 12 lang yung respondents mo, 12 lang yung sampling mo, that's okay. Hindi mo na kailangan mag-interview ng iba. That is what we call purposive sampling. And finally, document the research design. That is why I always ask you to write everything in your journal. You document it. Even the research design, RQs, methodology, feasibility assessments, strategies and tactics, and create a clear roadmap. I will teach you this afternoon about this. No? Paano gumawa ng roadmap to conduct your research. Ah? An example would be like this. Ito yung example niya. Tuturo ko sa inyo mamaya. So, that is step 5. So class, please do your work diligently. Record everything. You record everything. No matter what language you are using. Kahit Taga-Tagalog nyo na yan. Basta naka-record lahat ng activities ninyo. You include the date. Ganun. Kailan nyo naibigay yung CLUP request, kailan kayo nag-follow up, lahat yun. Ilagay nyo sa journals ninyo. Ha? Okay? Ha? This is an example. This is my thesis on, because before it became a thesis. This is how original the thesis is. Ito yung journal ko. And then ito yung kung paano siya nabuo-buo. Now, this is what we call a mind map. I will teach you mamaya. No? What is our mamaya, I will teach you how to do this. For you to have an easier. And you try to build your mind map using this. Ha? Ituturo ko mamaya.